But enough about the Democrats. I want to talk briefly about Iraq. This was the 1 year anniversary of the surge. President Bush, John McCain, winning in New Hampshire, bragging that the surge is worked. Everything's going hunky-dory in Iraq. In fact, this was just before the primary. He was questioned by an anti-war voter about staying in Iraq for over 50 years. This is what McCain had to say.
Bush has talked about our staying in Iraq for 50 years.
Maybe 100.
We've
been in South Korea. We've been in Japan for 60 years. We've been in South Korea for 50 years or so. That'd be fine with me, as long as Americans are not being injured or harmed or wounded or killed. It's fine with me. I hope it will be fine with you if we maintain a presence in a very volatile part of the world where Al-Qaeda is training, recruiting, and equipping and motivating people every single day.
So he has planted his flag. Let us maintain a presence in the most volatile region of the world for 100 years. That is fine with him. He caveats it, if we're not being killed. But the whole issue is, and our own intelligence community has said this, that it is the fear of Western domination that is one of the primary fuels of the spread of the jihadist movement. There's polling of Iraqis that shows a direct correlation between belief that we're putting permanent military bases in Iraq and support for attacks on U.S. troops. So how do you have Americans, military, U.S. military, in Iraq for 100 years and not have them killed? It defies logic. But he is getting away with that for now because there is this media perception that the surge is working because there is a nominal decline in violence over the past few months. But does that mean the surge is actually working? Now, here's Thomas Ricks on MSNBC last night talking with Keith Olbermann. This is one of the most respected reporters on the ground in Iraq, author of Fiasco. Here's what he had to say about the surge.
Judged on the terms in which the president presented it, the surge has not worked. The purpose of the surge was to improve security, but to improve it to lead to a political breakthrough. And that political breakthrough has not happened. It was supposed to happen by last summer. That was the theory of the surge. So the theory of the surge is now demonstrably false. We're into 2008 and it hasn't happened. So there's a big question, okay, if the breakthrough doesn't happen, what do we do next?
Do the Iraqis think it has worked?
I think Iraqis recognize that large parts of Baghdad are more peaceful than they were, but the violence is basically back to 2005 levels. And that was no picnic, 2005. It was just 2006 was pure hell.
So McCain is getting a bit of a political break here because there's a relative lull, although Ricks has said earlier they've moved from the 8th circle of hell to the 5th. You know, that's your reduction in violence. Ricks has also noted that part of that is just because ethnic cleansing in areas of Baghdad have finished. So bravo, surge. But because the media perception is things are better, it's not on the front page as much as it used to be. McCain is running on the surge has worked. His electability argument has improved because of that temporarily. His whole argument to the conservative base of the party is, you hate me. I know you hate me. You hate that I've diverged from party orthodoxy on certain things. But I'm your best chance to win independence, so you should vote for me anyway. When he first embraced the surge, he got killed with independence. I wrote a piece for Huffington Post 2 years ago that McCain is the most dangerous man in America because he is a diehard neoconservative on foreign policy. If you want more Iraq, if you want to go into Iran, he's your guy. But that's not where most Americans are, yet he does have a sense of the straight talk facade that has appealed to independence. Well, that veneer was stripped off when he backed the surge. And perhaps he's getting it back a little bit now because of the perception that the surge is working. But if there is nothing underlying, fundamental, that has changed for the benefit of Iraq, the U.S. military doesn't want the 1.5 million refugees from Syria to come home because they know their homes aren't there anymore. And they said, our surge won't work if you come back to your homes. That's not a very good surge, in my opinion. So it's hard to see that that this improvement's going to last throughout 2008. And McCain's entire political viability, he is intricately tied to Iraq. And so I'm personally not afraid of a candidacy based on let's stay in Iraq for 100 years. Because I don't think anyone's going to want to stay in Iraq for 100 years by November. They certainly don't right now. We're going to talk more about what's going on with the Republican race. The next contest is in Michigan on Tuesday. After the break, we're going to talk to Eric Barron from MichiganLiberal.com, get his take on what to expect and what issues are being talked about by the voters on the ground. This is Bill Scher, WHMP, News, Information, and the Arts, the Liberal Oasis radio show. Back after this.